right, just like we told you, we have a legend in our midst, and we're talking the legend, none other than ID Cabasa, and it's been a long time coming. Good to have you in the studio.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, big shout out to you. Now, this was supposed to happen a while back, but traffic is traffic in Lagos. So, yeah. First off, today, how bad or how good was the traffic? We usually ask this question.
So I'm coming from the island, which definitely I will tell you it was really bad.
Yeah.
I had to go through Surulere and all of those exits, and that I can excuse because of the Third Mainland Bridge.
For sure. For sure. All right, so first off, right, last time you were at City, I think it was like
2019.
We had this interview. I think it was me, you, Any Money as well. Good times. Good times. So, first off, since it's the beginning of the year, right? Let me ask, how was 2023 so far as concerns plotting, plans that you had for this year? Because it's looking like a big year already, 2024.
So for me, I do less of plotting.
Really? I
just do whatever comes.
Okay.
Because in time past, you plot and you overplan sometimes and you don't get to execute any of those plans. So I take it as it comes, one at a time. If any plan comes to my head, I don't wait for no time in terms of waiting for the next year. When we talk about the future, I think we should talk more about now, because the future is an illusion that most of us live in, that we end up not doing anything. So anything that comes today, I do. If it meets tomorrow, which is going to be another today, it meets it. So
I think I was already carrying me tomorrow. Well, big shout out to you.
Yep, and I think my first question to you would be, I mean, being the legend that you are, when would you say you had your first break as regards production and all? Like, when did your first break happen for you?
Okay, the first major one was with Lord of Ajasa.
Right.
That was almost we get many rapper. That was even the first time somebody would mention my name in a song. So that song was actually the very, very first one, which eventually people, even in the industry, started asking for, okay, who is this guy that they are shouting Cabasa, Cabasa, Cabasa. So that was the very first one.
Okay, and then back to now, before Photocopy the Remix, did you produce anything?
I've actually been working.
Exactly.
So the only thing that has changed is that, way back you have to mention the producer's name in a song. But now all of that has changed. On Olamide's album till the last two, I was always on them, producing one or two tracks. On every Nice's album, I'm always on those two. And there's a guy that does Afro Gospel, Grace Baba, which I produced the whole album except for like 2 songs on it.
Yeah.
Elijah Level and all of that. So the only thing that I think that has changed is the fact that
the name calling is not there anymore.
I think I actually prefer it.
I was going to ask if it's good or bad, but okay.
That's for you personally. It's good. Did you ever think of like somebody doing a tag like ID Cabasa or something?
I actually have DJ Any Money did.
Oh, really?
But I'm still a bit on the reserve side to be using those tags.
But was he a good tag though?
Yeah. Olipada and Soul Killer, ID Cabasa.
There we go.
Music rocket launcher. Yeah.
I think I've heard that before. Yeah. Okay.
So you get to hear that, but you don't get to hear Cabasa.
Fantastic. Now, I love the fact that you said you've also worked with a gospel artist on the gospel scene. Now, you have not in any way been too low-key about where you stand as concerns your beliefs and spirituality and everything. Now we deal in an industry where perception is everything, right? Where you need to be, some people feel like they need to be careful about their spirituality and about Nigerian music as a whole. The ills it comes with, the everyday phenomena and whatnot. So I need you to speak on this for a bit, right? Can someone be at the apex of their powers as an artist or a producer and still maintain and be unapologetic about the spiritual side of life?
So when you talk about your faith, I think we should be clear that we are talking about the spirituality and not the religion.
Yes, that's why you spirituality.
Yeah, so people are careful to fight for their religion, not really their faith. Because at the end of the day, every man is spiritual.
Right.
Every man has the Spirit of God in them. Yes, we still have to function, as in when we get to listen to God, to function well. But when we talk about this, most times what people see is, I'm a confessing Christian, I'm a confessing Muslim, and we try to fight for the religion, not for the spirituality in it.
Yes.
Because if you check spirituality in its deep form, it connects. Spirituality is vibe. It's supposed to connect us. It's not meant to actually divide us. So, and if you check through all of those religion, you get to see that there is so much division, which you will know is not coming from the place of spirituality. It's coming more from the place of mine is better than yours. I know God better than you do, and all of that. And all of those things does not exist where the spirit is. And people confuse spirituality for people confuse the secular system for carnality. They are two different things. If there's anything my spirituality against, I think it will be carnality, not secularism, because I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And what the Bible says is that take the word to where? To the uttermost part of the earth. That is, make disciples of all men, not just Christians.
Beyond your comfort zone.
So that was why I said, let your light so shine. Not that my light should stay back in light.
Yeah.
Which will cause blindness. At the end of the day, simple physics. If I look at this light now, my face is going to be blurry. So that is what happened when you keep your spirituality within the confine of a religion, whereas your spirituality was given to you to actually spread. You understand? You are supposed to share love. You are supposed any religion that is devoid of love, sincerely, is just mere religion, and I don't think God's spirituality is in it.
So I know of an artist, right, that has confided in somebody and told me, right, that he has been perceived as someone that is not outgoing, or the brand is reserved because he refuses to do things that his spirituality is not necessarily in line with, like refusing drinks or spliff, for example, in public domains and whatnot. And he has been perceived as goody two shoes by the peers.
What the guy needs to know is that, see, you need to differentiate between what is wrong and what people don't like. There is what is wrong, what people don't like, then there is sin. Most times people go for what they do, they correct it for what they don't like, not what is wrong. Then sometimes what they tell you is wrong might not necessarily be a sin. There is sin, there is weight. Drinking is not a sin, it's a weight on people.
Drinking is not a sin, it's a weight
on people.
I don't make people go and drink 12 bottles.
So before people start to drink too much, I will tell you that I don't drink. Okay? So I understand when it is a weight. The weight is on you, not on God. You drink, you lose your control of yourself and all of that. It's not that it's going to affect God, but it's going to affect you. When you smoke, I'm very sure any Muslim or Christian will tell you that they've never seen it in their book that thou shalt not smoke. But where smoking becomes a problem is it's actually, even on the pack is written, it shortens your life. So it's a weight on you, which was why I said people might need to really focus more on what is wrong. You understand? Then you check what is wrong if it is a sin. If it is a sin, you correct it from the spiritual part. Then if it is a weight, you also correct it. Do you know people will flow better if I tell you that, guy, this drinking is going to destroy your liver, this drinking is going to destroy your mind and all of that, than me just saying that one book said you should not drink. Then the guy gets to pick up the book and find out that even when they were choosing bishops, they said he should be a man that is not given to too much wine, which is to say is not. Some people will tell you that the water that Jesus turned to wine, was it fruit juice and all of that. So it's better to be clear. When you are clear as a person that you're getting into the industry and some of these things are there, you know which is wrong, which is sin, then which is what people don't like. Because some people carrying a dreads now, you know, some churches will never want to see that. But the question is it wrong? No. Do they like it? No. So they start to justify what they don't like as what is wrong, and eventually what is wrong they start to see as a sin. So if we are able to actually look at those three before you start to make your decision, I think you will be in a balanced place. Your job as a person is to connect. I'm a Christian. If the guy is a Christian, you should listen.
He's a Christian, yeah.
Jesus said he's sending you as a sheep among wolves. I'm sending you as a sheep among wolves. But he said something. He said be crafty. In fact, be smart as a snake. It's not that the snake, you know the craftiness of the snake. Yes. So the idea is not that you will now, Bible said you are in this world, but you are not of this world, which is to say, I personally, I'm in that industry, but the question is, do I really belong to that industry? That industry, anything you belong to owns you.
Yeah.
Your whatever controls you is from there, but you can also work in that industry without that industry actually owning you. So it's just for people to balance their spirit, to really know scriptures for yourself. If you're a Christian and if you're a Muslim too, I think you might need to know your scriptures, know it very well, and be able to decipher what people don't like, what is wrong, then which is sin. So once you're able to decipher that,
okay.
All right. I think before we take a little breather, let's just go back to you talking about Nice and how you've been on every work he's done. Would you then say that he is your biggest artist, basically? And what's your relationship with him like?
Okay, shout out to Nice. Shout out to Nice.
Yeah.
Today is his birthday, though.
There we go. There we go. Happy birthday, Nice.
Yeah.
So for me, I see almost everybody that I've worked with, especially those guys that are very close to me that I at one point signed on. I see them as, I won't say I see them the same way, but I have different kind of relationship with them, and I wouldn't say Nice was the biggest thing that has come out from Coded Tunes. Olamide too is there. Olamide actually took what Nice started. Olamide took it to another level. And whosoever is taking over from Olamide too, at the end of the day,
we have to take it to another level.
You understand? He's taking it from that same tree which we planted, and there was an agenda, there was a plan that, look, whatever we are doing, we need to take it beyond even ID Cabasa or just one person. So I will say all of them.
It's a thing of growth. Everybody be growing from the next level to the next level.
Amazing.
Okay, and then to now, what do you think of the current wave of Afrobeat?
It's popping.
What is that? It's popping.
The wave is popping. Sincerely, I've been asked this question. Like, this is the fourth time this week, and it's still the same answer that, look, it's growing. I know there is a lot of criticism coming with it. Some people coming saying that the music of then is better than now. That's not the first time I've been hearing that. Even when I was growing up, they would tell us that the previous guys. So, but unfortunately, people don't know that something is becoming simpler doesn't mean that it's not becoming better. Okay. Because the world is not given to complexity. The world wants it to be simple. So our music is becoming simpler, which is why it is actually traveling faster. The wait to learn a song is becoming lighter, so you have more people getting to learn those songs easily. So I understand the part of people talking about values too, but sincerely, it did not start today. It has always been there. So for those things to change, I think it doesn't have to do with just music. I think it should start from the families, where we get to teach people good values and what people see as value, what people cherish, what people see as where they should put their what is it called?
Like value systems.
Yeah, their value system. Once that can change from the family, it will start to reflect in the society, and it will reflect more in our songs. And for people that sit back and complain about these things too, what I would rather say is, your complaints can't change anything. Either if you are doing music, probably come into this scene, come and change some of these things. Or if you are not doing music, you can also probably look for somebody that you know that can do stuff well and that can do very well. Tell them to, probably you sponsor them, or you look for ways to. You can't kill an idea. The best you can do is to replace it. And to replace it means that you have to invest time, monies, and a whole lot into it.
Rather than complain, change it, basically. All right, now let's focus on the project, right? It's unearthing things that you've been affiliated with. We're talking 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and it hasn't been done in this way before, right? Whereby everybody's in sync, right? First off, how did the idea come about? And how were you able to make everybody in sync with this reimagination that you're doing as concerns old records? Okay,
so this is just the first of several songs that I've worked on. Some other, in fact, yesterday evening.
So I heard.
I got a license for one of the old songs. I didn't produce that. Okay. Someone else produced. One of my favorite producers in Nigeria produced it, and the artist on it too is a big one. In fact, big in Yoruba. Okay. By the time people guess what that name big means, it's a big fish. Yeah. So.
Okay. I just had to
keep it. Okay. So I spoke to him and he gave me the right to actually remake that. So where is that coming from? This was a conversation between myself and Olamide.
Yeah.
For every song, for anything that is made at all, you make them with the possibility of them being recreated. Which is to say...
And you had that in mind when you first made them years ago?
Yes. Because for me, I'm not a perfectionist. I rather go for excellence, because perfection will be stranded at the end of the day. Yeah. So, but when you go for excellence, you will know that the best for now, which can be better, that's an expiry time that it can always be better. And for everything created, I know there is always something to still work on, which I call the unfinished business. On every business that I get myself into. God made trees, people made furnitures out of them, papers and all of that out of them. So for every song that I've created, I believe that if you still touch them now, you can still recreate them and still give them the vibe of now, and they will still be very relevant. So that was why Olamide and I had that conversation, and I started recording. The first person I actually recorded was Olamide.
Okay. He
put out a snippet of that song, and the kind of attention that got, I've not dropped that song though. That was where we started from, and I said, okay, let me just do more. And for what's his name? Vector.
Yes.
Being on the
I was going
to imagine. Vector too for me is an unfinished business, because it's one of those artists that I've always longed to work with. I've known him forever. I've known him since his days in Unilag. Yeah. That I've always been looking for ways to, I need to work with this guy. And why? Vector is not just your average rapper. He's a very good, tight rapper. Then beyond that, Vector is not a guy that is given to just music. He's a guy that carries so much essence. When you have a conversation with Vector, you will discover that he's talking to you about music. At the same time, he's talking to you about life. And essence. So I needed somebody that will understand the weight that that song Photocopy carries. Photocopy technically is talking about your identity, how unique you are, how even when people try, they can't be you and all of that, even from the very first time we released it. So when I gave him the beat and he came through with that verse, with the two verses, I knew I was on the right track, because he understood the drill and he came through. Definitely, my favorite part in that song is where he was speaking Yoruba. That you understand that 40. Yeah. 40. So for me, it was one of my bucket list on that album.
Because working with Vector.
Yeah, working with Vector.
Okay. This is the part where we listen to Photocopy, the remix. Nice, Vector. Right?
Let's go.
From way back in St. Gregory to the Unilag Battle Raps. Way back in St. Gregory to the Unilag Battle Raps. See, I couldn't fall by my fall. Clock it, yeah, I throw and I throw rap. Start way before they gave a damn about their pockets. Way beyond the ones who could market. Shout outs to Nice, to Queen Langeli. Me and my young self was only getting ready. There's only one type, you only copy on the song. Anything beyond start. Oh yeah, run along with it play, otherwise pay attention. Original facts I don't have to mention. Rap protector, spark electro, hot forever and essential. Welcome. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá fẹ́ photocopy, photo lucky láti kókó bóyá tó bá 40. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá fẹ́ photocopy, photo lucky láti kókó bóyá tó bá 40. And still foolish, you see the punch you go receive, you believe it, they tear past me, and that's fussy. You couldn't make me the heat that you pay to deceive. I know they bred pad beef, that's Jazzy's. Well, this is Vector, now Saki. Anyway, scam na scam, Zambaki, Zambaku. And I don't claim to speak Hausa, but you know you guys kaku. Sound weak China, rewind Lafiaji. Japanese Haida Saki. Face all the war in the world and survive, no be lie. The inspiration is basically Nagasaki.
people. And if you've just tuned in, we have ID Cabasa in the building. He needs no introduction. We've been having a conversation, and I mean, you get to watch this again on YouTube and Instagram just so you can pick one or two. There's always something to pick whenever ID Cabasa speaks, and there's a lot to take from this and some more that are about to upload. And I think one pressing question for me now, even though it's just not flowing, I want to ask you about Kiss Daniel. So I love Kiss Daniel, love his sound, love his tunes, love everything about him. But I think my question to ID Cabasa is if you think, or if at all, he is being sidelined when it comes to awards.
So Kiss Daniel is one. I've had this conversation with someone, by the way. For me, Kiss Daniel is one of the artists that I think everybody should study. Kiss Daniel has hacked one of the greatest questions that people will ask you about making music. He knows how to make it records.
Yes, I agree.
He doesn't have any song that will not glow on you the very first time you listen to it. The latest one that one did not even take that one did not even take
time as well
to do it. As in immediately I actually heard it on TikTok, and bam, it just, and in my head I was like, this boy knows something that a whole lot of people don't know. I study how to make it songs, and Kiss Daniel for me is a major reference point. So for me, when you say somebody that knows how to make what trends, what works, and that you won't feel like you will ever have a bad song, I think the number one in this country for me is Kiss Daniel. Okay. And to me, that is an award.
Right.
So if you go by, I'm very sure Kiss Daniel, knowing him from afar, is a guy that understands the way this thing works. People sit down to create these awards and they choose who they want to give it to.
Right.
I agree.
Let us be clear.
That is 100%.
Whosoever gets the awards does not define. Yes, now has been chosen.
Now we're not saying a particular platform does it, but we're just saying it happens in general.
So I also I'm a judge on several talent on shows, and I know how this thing works. That sometimes the people we even want to win, because we know the potential they carry, just by their mistake in a particular stage of the competition can definitely get them out. So for me, Kiss Daniel is already a winner. He deserves to have from all of those awards, which I don't want to mention them. In fact, for me, I think Kiss Daniel deserves a Grammy for
at least a nomination for Buga.
For Buga, you understand? Buga for me was not just a national anthem, but it was a world anthem because it traveled everywhere. That guy deserves all the awards. But for me, I will also still say, if Kiss Daniel is listening now, that look, bro, you have the code to stay. People that try to make music just to win awards, they are playing short games. Because at the end of the day, they don't pay you for most of these awards. Even if they pay you, you can't compare what you make from actually trending every song. That fact is the first person that I will call a TikTok artist in Nigeria. He knows how to do songs that it will come with a dance step, it will come with some things, and before you know what is happening, it becomes a movement and everybody is jumping.
There's something that they're called TikTokable.
You understand? And for me, like I said, some people will sit down. It's their preference. It doesn't define the map of the world. It doesn't define the mind of. And unfortunately, we are in Nigeria where algorithm is also what they use.
Yes.
And unfortunately, those algorithms don't really work because Nigeria has more unaccounted for data than the ones that you can actually look at. Unaccounted for data are some of those data of the street guy.
Yes.
That you can't capture. But you will say you capture the guys living in Lekki, in Naija, and all of in Lekki VI, which if you look at their numbers is not even up to 15% of the numbers that we are talking about. You now say the preference of those guys is what you will focus your nomination or even giving these awards to. No. Kiss Daniel, I'm sure any show that Kiss Daniel goes in this country is going to shut it down. Because as far as he's concerned, that guy has hacked the art of making hit songs.
Fantastic. Now, just like from her question about Kiss Daniel, right? We she and I, we had a conversation, I think it was like a few days ago. I'm sure you came across it. Fireboy's comments on the kind of music he made and he wants to be making, right? And what people expect of him. I like the fact that you're smiling already, right? Now, we use Kiss Daniel as a sample for what consistency might be. You know, you make music when you are unknown. You make music when you become a household name. You make music when you become a Grammy prospect. The consistency is there, right? Yeah. You still keep delivering based on demand, and you always deliver when it comes to the supply. Now, Fireboy kind of said that people can't expect him to make the music that he made when he was younger. Laughter, Tears and Goosebumps, the debut album. And it's going to be different with Apollo. It's going to be different with Playboy. Right? Now, I know you might say that everybody has different, patterns when it comes to their career and what they want to focus on, but being able to be consistent and being able to change because of how you see life now and your perception or your perspective, which do you prefer, or which do you think is more sustainable in the long run?
So I would say you keep your class. There will always be trends. Trends will always come and they will go. But most importantly, keep your class and make your class always trendy. And when I say make your class always trendy, it's like a footballer that is getting old doesn't mean that he has lost his class. He might have lost energy. But some of them, they will, like Pello in his prime.
Yes.
Pello might not be running around, but he's still distributing those passes, which are the most necessary things to actually do. You understand? So for a musician, you can't, like I did a reimagining of Photocopy. We did Photocopy 2008, thereabout, 2008. 2008 now is how many years?
That's about 16 years, I think.
So that song is as old as a child. You understand? It's 16 years. So what we did 16 years ago was like a 5-minute song. But things have changed now. Do you know if I come with Photocopy still coming with 3 verses, 16 bars, with 3 verses, then I still come with, the kind of kits that we were using then. People will be like, you are trying to push old school to a new generation that the way they perceive things is actually quite different from my own generation. But what did I do? I shortened the song. In fact, the major complaint on YouTube now is that song is too short.
It's too short, yeah.
You understand? So we cut it to like 2 minutes, 2 verses, which is what is popping now. So anybody, if you hear Fireboy sing here without any guitar or beat, you will know this is Fireboy. That was what Fireboy was trying to say. That look, I will keep to my my Fireboy's kind of voice. I'm a kind of he's actually more of an R&B artist than your
regular Afrobeat.
So
fast-paced.
So when you say regular Afrobeat, I am sure that the industry is still struggling sincerely with the definition of what Afrobeat is, whether it's a genre or it's an umbrella name. I'm sure people are still struggling with it. But by the time you hear, it's like Olamide will jump on any beat that you give to him. Same thing with Fireboy, but you will still hear Fireboy, which is his distinct self. So technically, I've seen that stuff, and I've also had conversation with him. What he was trying to say is that, look, I don't want to be held in a box. You understand that I just have to be doing this type of music till I die. Even everybody now, Drake did not start with, you understand, the way he's singing now. He used to be one of those hardcore rappers and all of that. So, but because of time, because of all the change that you see, they are keeping their class, but they are trendy too. So I think that was what Fireboy was trying to say, and that is where I actually stand too. Olamide, by the way, we did the Eniduro. Eniduro was 4-minute rap from beginning to end. But when last did Olamide rap?
His last hit was Ginger.
Thank you. So you understand what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that Olamide will still not rap, because I think I did a song for him which he rapped on one of those records, and which was really huge. And I think he did a rap track last year on one of those songs, even on Canada.
Yes, with Magneto.
So
amazing.
Keep your class.
Amazing.
All right. I think I just want to ask if you're still discovering new artists. Is that still something you're...
Those artists who said discover themselves. No, we'll find them now.
No.
Once they this is to any young artist that is there. Discover yourself first. Create some level of value. Social media has made it easy for you to create an equity of value, which when people see those things, they'll come out for you. Most of these top artists that you see now, they were discovered on social media. By then, just doing covers, singing, and doing all of those things. Don Jazzy does that, Olamide does that, and some other people does that. I intend actually signing on like 2 artists this year. But I'm careful not to start announcing it so that people will not start bros. The way they bombard me on social media, sometimes it can be overwhelming. That I just run away. But by the time you see what you really want in an artist, which for me most times I'm looking for longevity, I'm looking for some, as in I don't want to sign an artist that will be a one-hit song and that will be all. I want somebody that can, because the industry has moved away from the days of you need to have a hit record to you to have a good
record,
not just a good record, to have a collection of, what do we call it,
evergreen.
No, not just one, where you have several songs.
Catalog,
yeah. It has moved from the place of you just having one good song, then you keep up into having a catalog of songs. So that when I get to your page, I'm not just listening to one song, but I will spend 3 minutes there, then I'm off. But I have the opportunity to actually listen to, like, let's say like 20 songs, and that is 20 times 3. That means that I've spent like 60 minutes, like an hour on your page, rather than just flipping through. Okay, that's the only song, and I just flip. So that's what I am personally looking at.
Big shout out to you. Like, so there are actually several other questions, and the last 2, just together, I'll put it. What advice would you give for struggling new acts who are trying to, like, you know, make a name for themselves? They are good though, but they are struggling because it's not easy for some. I mean, Charlie Poppy came and one time, now he's just, you know, all over the place. And then, is Wizkid okay? Is he fine? Because we're worried about him.
Let me start from the second one. I think you have to call Wizkid yourself.
Why now?
Because personally, for me, I would rather talk to people than talk about them.
Right.
So.
But we don't have access to Wizkid like that.
So I'm sure Wizkid is fine.
Okay.
Whatever. Wizkid is fine. Yeah. He just lost his mom.
Yeah.
And all of that, but I'm sure he's very
okay.
fine. He's fine. So for those, I don't want to call them struggling. I will call them aspiring artists. One of the things they need to do is to put their hair on the ground. And they should not stop doing what they are doing. Because you cannot be trusted with much if you can't undo little well. So if they can keep doing what they do, and most importantly, learning. And I'm not saying learn only how to make music. In fact, which is where most of them get stranded. There is so much in the music business now. Like, I'm not even supposed to know some things now. But that is to tell you that I have people that I follow, but they tell me what is happening in the industry now. Sometimes before those things even get to Nigeria, I get to know that this is what is going to be the new trend. Like for some of, I met with a young guy and he said, Baba, the problem I have now is that I need money, big money, to shoot a music video. And I was looking at the guy, he had an iPhone 14. I'm sure you will expect me that I will tell him that he should go and sell the iPhone 14.
Probably.
No.
That was not what I told him. I said, look, you have an arc now, which is viral videos. Shoot 20 viral videos. Post it. As in, because now it is no longer I'm a musician. It has become I'm a musician, content creator, which is why I love Zazu. Possible. Yes, if you ask him, he won't tell you that he's just a musician. He will tell you he's a content creator too. Create content that will draw attention to yourself.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said that. That's why I just wanted to ask this question before we call it a wrap, if time permits, right? Artist culture now. You mentioned Portable, like artist culture now. I feel like artists have a lot more tools to work with now than back then.
Yeah, back then.
Talking about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, right? But it's coming at a cost whereby the places that they quote unquote made their name, which is right here in Nigeria, tend to be neglected over time. Like, for example, radio interviews, exclusive news. Most of them are being done outside the country. Now, I'm not saying every, I said most, or most of the A-list. There's an artist culture now that, first off, you have to primarily appeal to people outside the country. I don't know, maybe because that's where the algorithm, the multiplier effect when it comes to the algorithm is I don't know, but
it's an illusion.
Yeah, it is.
There's a light to it, and there's also some level of truth to it. So for most of his, was it Chino Achebe that said that he who plays the flutes, they take the dance. So most of them are going this route because that is where their money comes from, the algorithm and all of those things that you said. Then there's also this part of insecurity that I think we still carry, that we don't believe so much, and I'm scared that a time will come that these guys will define the way Afrobeat is, and they will do all of those things, and they will throw us under the bus. Then we want to come back to Nigeria, and we are going to meet the kind of reception that would never, because I still feel that as much as so much is happening outside Nigeria, which is good, there is also a need to still keep the home front intact. You understand? Where you go for, let your people meet you, let them know. Like for some people that are close to me, I also know that they face some challenges when they go to radio stations now. You know, challenges around areas that they are going to, where people come around them and all of that, and they don't intend to go for a radio interview, having police guys come with them and all of that. So they are constrained from their own side. But if it is coming just from the place of those stations are too local for me to go to, then that in itself shows that the person is insecure. You understand? So that's just how I say it.
Heidi Cabasa, we can go on and on, but big shout out to you for coming through today.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Big shout out to you, and we have to do this again sometime with Tara and myself.